Mishka. This is Mishka. And Mishka is a Chow mix, and he is growly to sounds that are outside. So let's ask if we can trigger a sound outside.
Purple.
Mishka. Now Mishka's a little bit worked up because he's really, there we go. He really likes his guardian. The guardian, and it's one of the guardians that's outside playing part of the game. So this is what he does: is he barks at sounds that are right outside the hallway. Sounds outside the building he doesn't respond to. Just sounds out here. So in this video, what we're going to go over, I'm going to show you how to use the concept of counter conditioning to stop a dog from reacting. Mishka, come here. There you go. So it's hard for the camera to see when you're behind the couch. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these treats and I'm squeezing them so they're sort of flat like a pancake. So what I want to do is I want to get Mishka used to chewing on these so I can distract him. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to be able to trigger a response. So when you hear the guardian saying a color, come here, buddy. Mishka, Mishka, come here. All right, say a color.
Green.
Now, he's making a sound. You saw right there, he stopped, but he didn't bark. All right, so another color?
Orange.
Now, that one we didn't hear, and make sure the timing is really precise. So we're doing this, we need the person outside, the instant they hear the color, they're making a sound. So what I'm doing is basically I'm starting to deliver this is what we call a positive reinforcer before the sound happens. Mishka, here, buddy. All right, trigger it again.
Pink.
There we go. So that was a little bit too intense. I don't know if that was him or we had somebody else do it. Mishka. So a couple of things. So when you're doing this, Mishka. So this is a good example. He's too worked up. That was too loud of a sound. So a couple things, before you do this, you want to exercise your dog early. And give your dog about 10 to 15 minutes to recover before you start doing this. Then what we do is I would deliver the reinforcers, and then I would say now, and the person would trigger the response.
Green.
While he's distracted and getting something else. So we're having something positive happen, and there we go. We had a sound that time and he didn't respond. So when we're doing this to begin with, we're delivering the reinforcer first, then we trigger the sound. That's why the precision, the timing has to be, one of the guardians asked about texting. You want to be able to talk. Now I'm saying colors now, but you don't want to hear the dog say now. After a while I say now and it starts reacting. So sometimes I do colors, sometimes I say numbers, sometimes I say cities or whatever the case may be. So the idea at first is the dog hears this and go ahead and trigger again.
Green.
So if he stops eating the treat, that means that was too intense. So you might actually need to do this when you're in your bedroom. You're a little bit further away from the door. I want to lower the intensity. I do that in one of three ways. I increase the distance, like by going to the bedroom. We lower the volume if we can. Or if it's like a skateboard or something like that, we lower the speed of it. So it's going by slow. So the whole idea is we want the dog to not react, instead getting this. Go ahead and trigger again.
Orange.
So you heard we had a little bit of a grumble, but not the full 4 bark that we normally get. So again, you need to be practicing this to the point where you see him here. You see his ears come up, you see him kind of shift, but he doesn't bark and react. I don't know where that one went. Mishka's like, I'll find it. So this is the first stage. So we're delivering the reinforcer, then the stimulus happens. Once we get to the point where we can be doing this, where he can be right this close to the door and he doesn't react, the next stage would be, and we're not going to be able to do it here because this takes a little bit more time. Mishka, this would be better if you're in the shot, is where we would trigger the response, and I have a treat. So go ahead and have him trigger a response.
Green.
So this is an illustration of it being too soon. So what I was about to do is I had the treat ready to go, so he triggers the sound, and then I pop the treat in his mouth. So at first, it's to help him feel better about it so he doesn't react when he hears the sound outside. Mishka. Then after a while, what it will be is he hears the sound, and then he gets the treats. Now, if I give him a treat right here, this is treating him for barking. So what we want to do is get to the point, that's why we practice enough where we're giving him the treat first, and then he hears the stimulus to the point where he stops reacting to it right away. Then we hear the sound, then I give him the treat. And so the sound actually almost becomes a command word that means I'm about to get a treat. After a while, when he hears sounds outside, he's looking around like, who's going to hook me up? And so this is called counterconditioning. I have helped hundreds of dogs with this. It takes a little bit of time and practice. Now, again, if your dog's reacting, that means the stimulus was too loud or too intense. So move him further away or lower the sound volume of it outside until you get to the point, Mishka, where you can get to the point where you're delivering the reinforcer and go ahead and trigger it one last time.
Blue.
Right there. So we heard the sound, we heard the stimulus, and he didn't react at all. He had a little bit of an extraordinary chortle, and that's it. So if you do this enough, after a while, and make a list, there's different sounds. It might be the slamming of the door, might be people's footsteps, might be people's keys, might be people talking out there. Now, the other thing that that's not ideal about this is I had the guardian, his primary guardian, leave about a minute or two before we started this video. And so he was already kind of agitated because he has separation anxiety. Then my guardian's left. Now I'm dealing with multiple things. So this would be better if you can befriend somebody in the building or have a friend that comes by and practices this outside at a time when both of you guys are inside and he's not worried about it or working about it or concerned about the guardian being gone or one of the other situations are going on because he's dealing with a few other issues. Sit. Can we sit this way? Sit. Well, this is Mishka. Sit. And these are some tips and tricks you can use on how you can use counter conditioning to stop a dog from barking at things outside your door.